Man, oh man, it feels good to be back. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Five Field channel. We are fucking back. We had about a 2 week break here. Our last podcast recording was for NXT Roadblock. But then we were off because I was on vacation in Orlando, Florida for a couple days. And then I got home and it was time for March Madness. And there was no way I was missing March Madness, my favorite sports tournament of the entire calendar year. Yes, I like it more than the NFL playoffs. That's only if the Dolphins aren't in the NFL playoffs. But it's my favorite tournament of the year. There's no way I was missing it. And games all day Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And usually today, it's like the worst Monday of the year because you're sitting there, you go to work, and you come home and it's like, where's the basketball? And there's no basketball on until Thursday night. But we did have Raw on this afternoon, and they're still doing their European tour. They were in Glasgow, Scotland, and I don't know, man. I'm not feeling this road to WrestleMania. It's not. It's especially with the international shows. I thought last week's Raw was eh. I haven't seen SmackDown yet, but I heard SmackDown was not good in Italy on Friday. And this show, man, I don't know. I didn't think this was all that exciting. Um, we had a DQ main event with the Judgment Day standing tall to end off the show. It is 2025. And we are 4 weeks away from WrestleMania. And we have the freaking Judgment Day standing tall to end Monday Night Raw in Scotland. This is not 2023, where the Judgment Day were in their prime. The Judgment Day, it is so old, it is so outdated, it needs to be axed after WrestleMania. Because obviously they're building to something with Finn Balor and Dominic. But whenever that feud is over, whether that's after WrestleMania or whenever a time after WrestleMania, the Judgment Day needs to be axed. Done. We had John Cena and Cody Rhodes on the show. I thought it was better than last week. Last week's was good, but last week they could have chunked down a lot of time on that segment. And this week, from John Cena, it was more of the same with belittling fans, calling them pathetic, abusive relationship. But then he talked about the 17th championship, which was interesting. And tonight, Cody won the promo. Cody won that segment. And for a second week in a row, after Cody speaks, John Cena doesn't say a word. It's going to happen sooner rather than later. Hopefully, it happens next week in London. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think they're gonna wait until we get back to the States. I think John Cena is gonna say words about Cody next week in London. But then we also had the whole fiasco with Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky, which results in a title match next week. And we'll talk about all of that. But overall, man, just not an exciting episode of Raw. Pretty uninspiring, if you ask me. It did fly by. I will say that. It flew by pretty fast, which is good because that's the pace that you want for the shows. So I thank you all for joining me. We got Raw tonight. I don't know if I'm going to be here for AEW Wednesday. We'll find out. I'm not quite sure with my schedule. Friday, maybe Saturday morning, we're going to do a SmackDown review because I'm going to watch the Sweet 16 on Friday. And on Thursday, I will be at the Sweet 16 in the Prudential Center. Won't be doing a vlog on here, but we'll be doing some posting on Twitter, uh, TikTok, Snap, so you can follow all my social medias there, which I'll talk about at the end of this video, this podcast. But then next week is when we will pick things back up here on the Big Five Field channel regularly. We'll have Raw, we'll have Dynamite, we'll have Dynasty predictions, Dynasties next weekend, which should be awesome. And yeah, man, we're getting things rolling here on the Big Five Field channel. We were gone for a couple weeks, but now we're back. We were dealing with vacation. We were dealing with March Madness. Now I'm back. And we are talking Raw from Glasgow, Scotland. So we start off with John Cena. And like I said, it's more of the same. The fuck you Cena chant and shut the F up. And chanting Cody Rhodes. John Cena said more of the same in his promo. The only thing he talked about different was the WWE Championship, which is a positive. It's a step in the right direction. He said that he is going to redeem himself from this abusive relationship he's had with the fans for over 25 years, and that is win a 17th championship. And he says, you've mocked my championship runs. You've made my championship into a toy. And an example he had was the spinner belt. He said that was an actual championship, and you guys treated it like a toy. All of you back in the day brought the spinner belts to the shows, spin the W, made fun of it when it's an actual championship. And he said, I am going to make up for that. And he said, I'm going to be the last real champion in this company. He says he will win the WWE Championship, become a 17th championship. And he says that to do a disservice to you for what you've done to me for 25 years, I'm walking away with the WWE Championship when I retire. And out came Cody Rhodes, and he said, to take the championship away from them first, you got to take it away from me. And he said, we're not going to allow that to happen. I thought Cody cut a much better promo this week than he did last week. And they did the angle where Cena was walking up the alleyway and Cody stopped him by saying words and basically said, you better not be this insecure, whiny bitch at WrestleMania. I better see the most dangerous version of John Cena in his entire career. So I thought this was a better segment this week than I did last week. I thought last week's segment was good, but it had something missing. And I think it was no mention of the WWE Championship or The Rock. We didn't get a mention of The Rock tonight, but we did get a mention of that championship and him winning a 17th championship against Cody Rhodes. So that's the right step in the direction, I would say. A-Town Down Under against the Usos. Oh my gosh. I got a lot to catch up on with this feud, which I'll talk about after the match. So, the match was okay. The Usos won with the 1D, and and Gunther attacked Jimmy, which led to a brawl between between Gunther and Jay, and they were punching and chopping, and uh, Jay got the best of him, but then Jay went for the spear and he slipped. They did a spot where Jay messed up and Jay slipped, and we'll talk about that. And Jimmy came in with a steel chair after Gunther had a chokehold onto Jay, and Gunther retreated from the Usos. Later on, Jay was doubting himself. Jimmy tried to talk some sense into him. He said, "This version of you is not going to beat Gunther at WrestleMania. We need the right-hand man, main event Jey Uso, the 2025 Royal Rumble winner Jey Uso, if you have a chance of beating Gunther." And then he walks over to Gunther, who's just minding his own business. And Jimmy says, "Next week, it's you and me one-on-one." And Gunther laughs, and Jimmy smacks him in the face, and that's all we got tonight. So, okay. Obviously, I didn't review Raw last week. I was on vacation. The show aired at 3 o'clock from Brussels. I watch a show around 9 o'clock at night. And we had Jey Uso against Austin Theory. And this match lasted 27 seconds. Jey Uso had 3 moves the entire segment. A super kick, a spear, which Michael Cole called a cross body, and a suicide dive over the top rope. Jey Uso hit one of the worst spears that I've ever seen, that Michael Cole called it a cross body. And then last week, this dude dove over the top rope and he botched a dive. His leg hit the top rope and he fucked up the dive. And they've now turned it into a story where Jay is messing up, Jay is in his head, and they've got fucking A-Town Down Under, and they've got Alpha Academy in this feud, and I'm sorry, this just does not feel like a WrestleMania world title match. I love Jey Uso. He's so over. I love the yeeting. I got myself a Yeet shirt in Philly at the SmackDown show a couple weeks ago. I love Jay. I don't think Jay... you tell me. Jey Uso wins the World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther. What's the real expectation what's the real timetable he holds on to that championship for? 2 months? 3 months? Loses it right before SummerSlam? This guy should not be a world champion for longer than 4 months. And I love Jey Uso, but he shouldn't be a champion for a long time because he is nowhere near in the ring as a singles wrestler on the level of guys like Seth Rollins, Penta, Braun Breaker, CM Punk, Gunther. He's nowhere near that level in the ring. When the bell rings, he's not that guy. And this just, with the build and everything, it doesn't feel like a world championship match at WrestleMania. And it's copying and pasting the same story from last year with Sami Zayn and Gunther. for the Intercontinental Championship. It's the same story. And what happened? The underdog came over Gunther. He found a way to beat Gunther. And it sounds like it's going to be the same story with Jey Uso and Gunther at this year's WrestleMania. And with this whole thing, I mean, I guess it's a positive that they got Jimmy involved. It's better than what they've been doing. But I need to see Gunther kick the shit out of Jimmy Uso next week. I need to see him destroy Jimmy Uso to get this feud like some life. Because I'm sorry, if you were to tell me that this is going to be the night one main event of WrestleMania, I'm saying no thank you. Give me the Punk Roman Rollins match instead. That's what I would say. Raquel and Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. You couldn't pay me to care about this. Raquel went for the Tejana Bomb. Lyra rolled her up and got the pin. And then Raquel and Liv beat Lyra up after the match. Bayley came out for the save. And it seems like we could be setting up a tag team match on the future of one of these Raw shows. Bayley and Lyra Valkyria against Liv and Raquel. I don't think that'd be a tag team title match. I don't really know. We had a video package for El Grande Americano talking about his history. And he's from the Gulf of America, which was recently the Gulf of Mexico, but it's now the Gulf of America because of our President Donald Trump. So he's raised from the Gulf of America. And tonight, he makes his debut against Dragon Lee. Adam Pearce in the ring. And got to get the hydration going, you know? It's a long Monday. You need the hydration. This is like my 5th water bottle today. Keep the hydration going. We had Adam Pearce in the ring discussing last week's mind-boggling segment where Rhea Ripley just walked into the ring, signed the contract, and stole the contract. So you're telling me that anybody on that roster could just go in the ring, attack the champion, attack the supposed challenger, and sign the damn contract? Why aren't people doing that more? That segment was so bad, though. Last week's. This segment, it was a bridge to get to next week. EO came out, and Adam Pearce tried to say something. And then Bianca came out, and Adam Pearce tried to say something. And then Rhea came out, and that's really when all hell broke loose. We had Rhea's name in the contract, but Rhea didn't earn her shot at the championship. So Adam Pearce came up with the solution that next week Rhea Ripley is going to get her rematch, and it's going to be Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky for the Women's Championship, or the Women's World Championship. Winner faces Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. And they're running it back. They're running it back from a couple weeks ago where Io won the championship in that awesome match. Is it going to be better the second time around? I don't know. I thought the first time around we were going to get a fuck finish. I think we're going to get that in London. I think we're going to get some sort of DQ or some sort of count out where it goes to a triple threat at WrestleMania. That's what this is all going to lead to between Rhea, Bianca, and Io. It should be an awesome match at WrestleMania because we probably know what's going to happen next week. But the build to it, I'm not really feeling at all. Um, we had Dragon Lee go 1-on-1 with El Grande Americano, which the announcers are saying it's Chad Gable, it's Chad Gable, it's Chad Gable. Patrick McAfee's like, we don't really know that. You can't assume. Um, so they're bickering the whole time, but this match was freaking great. And this honestly might have been my favorite thing on the entire show. The whole thing with Gable and him in the lucha mask. It's good, man. I didn't like it at first, but I tell you, it's really kicked off this night. So far, I like it. It's good. Um, so we have both guys fighting on the outside. Dragon Lee with a jumping knee. He goes for a Hurricane Rana, but Gable catches him with the exploder suplex onto the outside of the floor. Dragon Lee bounced up like a basketball. Dragon Lee in the ring later on gave Americano a super kick, and he goes for a move, and Chad Gable launched Dragon Lee into the turnbuckle with the jump and head over the head toss. It was so smooth. It was such a great bump by Dragon Lee too, and he got so much height on that. And then the ending came where Dragon Lee is going for his double foot stomp, and Americano grabs on the mask and he rips off the mask of Dragon Lee, puts in the ankle lock, and Dragon Lee, covering his face up, has to tap. And he's covering his face, and I thought this was great. It gets heat on Gable. His excuse, Gable, was that he was sick. He was coughing up tissues, and instead it was Americano, El Grande Americano, and this freaking angle, this story, I dig. It's good, it's funny, and they had a great match too. So shout out to Dragon Lee and Americano. CM Punk. CM Punk had a promo. It was made official on Friday that we're getting CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns in a triple threat match at WrestleMania after the confrontation they had on SmackDown and the big brawl that they all had. CM Punk said that Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins were not going to bring their presence to Glasgow because they're cowards, number one. And on number two, we're supposed to have a contract signing Friday on SmackDown. And he says, I will be there, and I will see you two fools there. But the one thing I want to say is that this is not personal for me. This is business. This is personal between you guys. This has gone on for 15 years. And he says Seth Rollins has had an agenda against him ever since he got back. And he says Roman Reigns, he sees in the real time, just like all of you, that his wise man isn't just his wise man. And he winks at the camera. And this whole time, he's like, I got a match at WrestleMania, which that's cool, but it's not what I want. But I could get what I want. So maybe In that contract signing on Friday, CM Punk is going to reveal what the favor is that he wants from Paul Heyman. He's going to reveal it. Maybe on Friday. I would think Friday. He tells him what he wants as the favor. And it's going to make for interesting television, man. It's going to make for an interesting segment on Friday with Punk, Rollins, and Reigns in their contract signing. We had the main event, Braun Breaker and Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. 5 minutes into the match. And I was really looking forward to this match too. And I didn't even know it was going to happen until I watched the show. Because my entire timeline was March Madness, March Madness, March Madness. Then, of course, I had work today. And I come home and I put on Raw. And they talk about Braun Breaker and Penta. I'm like, when did they make this official? So I'm like, okay, this is exciting. This is going to be a really good match. It was solid. But 5 minutes in, Dom and Carlito come down to the ring. You knew it was going to be a DQ then. You just had to know that was going to be a DQ. And sure as shit, Carlito gets on the apron. Braun Breaker's about to hit the spear. Dominic attacks him from behind. We get a DQ finish. Carlito grabs the chair. Finn Balor comes in with the chair. And he takes out Braun Breaker. And he starts hitting Braun with the chair. And he gives it to Dom. And Dom starts hitting Braun Breaker with the chair. But then Penta stands up. And Dom offers the chair to Penta. He's like, you do it. Join the Judgment Day. You hit Braun Breaker with the chair. And Penta super kicks him. And then Penta gets beaten down. And we get Dom, Finn, and Carlito standing tall to end off a very uninspiring episode of Raw, which in 2025, we have the Judgment Day standing tall. Are you serious? This faction should have been finished after the Rhea Ripley Damian Priest feud. When they were all over. When Rhea won the Women's World Championship, they should have went their separate ways. Let Dom go off on his own as a heel. Let Finn go off on his own as a babyface. Let Liv and Raquel do their own thing. They don't need to be a group. There's no need for the Judgment Day. It's old and it's so stale. So, this is obviously going to lead to a 4-way at WrestleMania with Braun Breaker, Dominic, Finn Balor, and Penta for the Intercontinental Championship, which Penta should win. Penta should absolutely win that match. So, that's your Raw review. I don't know if I'm going to be here for Dynamite or not. I will let you guys know on Twitter. But thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Comment down below your thoughts on the show. Follow me on Twitter, Colin_Joseph. And if you want all the content from the Sweet 16 in Newark, New Jersey, follow me on TikTok, Conlin_Joseph. I'll see you guys Wednesday. Maybe, maybe not. Peace. I'm out.